Welcome back to my channel. It's Christy here doing the weekly reading for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is for the week of November 7th through to November 14th. I'm doing these readings on the weekend of the full moon in Taurus. So with a focus on home and relationships with regard to the house ruled by Taurus, which of course is the second house. This rules relationships, possessions, values, home life. It also rules the jaw and the neck, and anything having to do with beauty, music, and the arts. So what does Virgo need to know about home and relationships this week? Interesting. I didn't expect to see that. So Virgo, let's just get a little snapshot of what's going on here with all these cards together. It looks like there's a real opportunity for you to come to terms with something this week. Really just deciding for yourself that you're going to clear your life or your mind or even your body of something that no longer serves value for you. It's a real opportunity for you to clean house, so to speak, okay? So as a general matter, as I said, this is a general reading, so whatever's most prominent in your life, this is what it's going to be affecting, but you're going to want to get right in there and finally move that dust, okay? Move things around. You might even want to, as I said, clean house. There's this sense of getting rid of something that isn't working for you anymore. I'm going to suggest that you already know what that is that needs to be cleared up, but it's being put off for some reason or another. Probably a sense of self-protection is involved here. That's usually the case, especially if it's relational. But if it is internal and there's no external relationship attached to this, it could just be about getting to a core of the matter for something in your own life that you truly only know about and understand, and this is something that's going on internally for you. So there could even be a sense of feeling lonely about that at this time, but rest assured, if you do tackle this, it will create space to bring something new and beautiful into your life. You want to also be aware to be aware of what you're bringing in, okay? We don't want to create a void or create a vacuum once we get rid of something, because then what we tend to do, just the human nature is we tend to fill it back up with something that we've already had there. So you want to say, I want to clear blank, whatever it is, from my life, and replace it with, something that you prefer, something beautiful, something healthy, something that makes you feel like you're growing and developing. So really, if there is any clearing of space here, you want to understand that you need to fill it back up with something that's going to work for you. From a cleaning aspect here, a lot of receptive energy here. You could be doing a lot of healing work in your own life. You could be feeling very balanced. In that regard, this is where you're going to feel the impetuous to finally get to the root of the matter, and it could amount to a sense of unsettling something. You could be digging at the root of something and trying to uproot something, but it needs to be done, okay? You recognize that, yep, I've been putting this off, and I've just needed the strength to get to the root of this, but I know what needs to be done. I'm going to uproot it. It could cause some strife in my own life. It could cause some strife in my family, in my relationships, in my goal settings short term, even my job or even my community or even the way that people perceive me, right? or the person they expect me to be. This could be upsetting because here I am making significant changes for myself in my own life, and I'm not sure how other people are going to react to this. So let's look at why I would be saying this about your reading here with all these cards. Blessed is in your current position. This represents you. So essentially, this really means that you feel strong this week, which is why I'm not reading Clean It Up and Chaos and Conflict, for example, as negative outputs or negative influence. If they were in different positions, if I was reading under a different auspice as opposed to the full moon in Taurus, home and relationships, second house energy. This is really a sense of feeling as though you are strong enough now, which is a really beautiful place to come from. We're also looking at 2 cards here, the yin, which we'll look at in detail in just a second, but both cards have purple and pink energy. So we're looking at divine feminine. Not surprised to see that with Taurus being ruled by Venus, frankly. But of course the purple, which is also a royal and a spiritual color. We do have some 10th house influence here with the half fish and half person, even though she's a fairy. So there could be something having to do with economics, with having to do with the way that you're perceived in the outside world, with the business community in general, or the way you do business in general. Okay, so just feeling strong in this area. This is a very powerful place for you to be. And again, I'm going to suggest that you're able to get to these perhaps difficult, clean it up, I'm going to get rid of what isn't working. I know, I'm aware of what I'm willing to replace it with, even though it might be upsetting to me at first, or even though it might upset other people, or something that has been working like clockwork. You really have to be in a very mentally and emotionally strong place to do this. And I'm going to suggest that that's how you feel this week. If you don't, maybe reflect on that, because you are a lot stronger than perhaps you believe you are right now. Including feeling protected, okay? Blessed is a really nice way of saying that you understand yourself, what you're made of and what you're capable of, and you're willing to put it into practice, okay? You're not showing any fear here. So you could feel very protected, but a great deal of self-respect as well. So yin, as the influence to your current position, of course, is the receptivity card. This is where you're going to feel as though you can take something in, okay? You're not being forceful. You're reflective. This is a real good reflection card. It's also why I really believe that you're in charge of this, right? You're in charge of cleaning things up, getting to the root of something, maybe even shaking things up a little bit, right? Well, that's what happens when we get to the root of a matter. When we're well enough and strong enough and willing to get to the root of the matter, but not only that, Virgo, understanding what you're giving up or cleaning up or getting rid of or willing to walk away from, etc. Not only that, but what you're willing to replace it with. This is very critical in succeeding here, okay? And this is where I see you at this extremely powerful, personal, powerful place for yourself that you understand here. So this is a real quiet, or what's been leading up to this could feel like a real quiet, even introspective place for you fairly recently. Maybe you knew this was coming, or maybe you understood on some conscious or subconscious level that you really needed to be your own best friend right now and really secure with yourself, and really loving to yourself, generous with yourself. You could also have been feeling more emotional than usual. It's not a negative thing. Anything run amok, but this means anything positive, right? Positive emotions run amok. We don't want to, even love run amok can look kind of crazy, right? So sadness run amok can look kind of crazy. So this is really about being generous with yourself and gentle with yourself about any emotions. Emotions can be love. It doesn't have to be negative, but we want to center ourselves and we want to understand who we are and how we're going to react, and really learn to trust ourselves. There's intuition involved here as well. So it could just be that you are finally in a really good, positive, self-empowered place where you are willing to get to the root of something. And I'm going to suggest that that's an incredibly courageous act, okay? Because, listen, Virgo, you could easily sit on your laurels right now, right? You could easily say, oh, everything is going really nicely and I feel really confident about this. And I could just leave things the way they are. I could keep my mouth shut, so to speak, right now. I could not, quote unquote, rock the boat this week. But here's what's at stake. Living with something that no longer deserves to be there, right? In your heart or mind or soul. And you know it, you recognize it. So it's just, and it's an incredibly powerful place to be when you're willing to clean things up, when you're willing to make something right for yourself. Yes, absolutely. It's going to look like it is a little messy. Okay, when we dig at the roots of something, when we go deep, especially if this is emotional for you, or psychological, or spiritual here, or if this is a mental health issue for you here. This is an incredibly brave period of your life, so give yourself a lot of credit if that's the case, Virgo. Because it's not easy, but it's going to be worth it, okay? And you've been doing a lot of hard work here, so I really want you to take one day at a time if possible, and just trust that if you're ready to do this and if you know it needs to be cleaned up, this is part of it, right? But this is not permanent, okay? Chaos and conflict is your probable outcome. This is not permanent, but it is part and parcel of getting to the root of something, all right? What's another way of looking at this? It's like solving a crime in a way, right? It's like solving a problem. Like, imagine if someone was buried and it was a suspected death and everyone thought they knew what it was from. And then, years later you go, you know what? I don't know for sure if that's how they died or if that's how this actually happened. Let's go dig it up. Let's go see. Let's investigate. That's what this is, okay? Right now, that's all it is. It might be painful. It might drag up some old stuff, right? But it's in the quest for something bigger and better. And it's in the quest for resolving issues. And very probably here, okay? Very probably. Because this is this is over. It's meant to go away here. This will solve a big problem for you. But the fact that you are willing to do this, it almost brings me to tears because it's very, very brave of you to do this. But it's very necessary. So please, if that's the case for you, trust that you have what it takes and stay strong right now. Here with Clean It Up, as I mentioned from the very beginning, this is the primary issue here. This is the influence to all the energies here, but of course this is the action being taken. This is you physically or emotionally. This is the behavior is saying, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm willing to clear this out because I've identified what isn't working for me anymore. And possibly more importantly than that, Virgo, you've identified what you want to replace it with, right? So you don't want to create a void here before taking action or moving in this direction here and digging up that root. You want to identify exactly what you want to replace it with, ideally, because it will help situate things more quickly when the cleaning is done. Here with abundance, really a sense of having everything you need at this time. We see this with the blessed card. We see this being emotionally fulfilled here, or at least being able to emotionally grapple with what is next. This means you've undergone a lot of self-awareness and also a great deal of self-respect. So congratulations on that development as well. Abundance is really just feeling that you have what it takes. And if for any reason during this period, I'm going to suggest this is for the next week, if this is a difficult experience, please learn to turn to the part of yourself that has gotten you through other difficult experiences in the past, and trust that this is for the best in order for you to move forward with something that is just really the time is up for it. And it really needs to go. It no longer serves a purpose for you. And of course, in speaking about something in particular that is painful for you, okay? Whether that's an old or new trauma or something that simply no longer serves a purpose in your life. Here with gathering, Absolutely. Gather your resources, gather your strength. You want to gather information to use as a tool. I used to be a very big activist for a multitude of different ideologies. One thing that activists like to state in terms of gathering resources here is to arm yourself, okay? You're at, this is a crossroads, right? So you want to arm yourself with knowledge and strength and decision-making and, you know, self-acceptance here, knowing you deserve something better. So really create a mental and a spiritual and even psychological wellness for yourself, so that every stage of this you step into it knowing that you have exactly what you need. And if you do feel like you are missing something, reach out and simply ask. I do believe it will be available to you here, with both blessed and abundance here available. Typically 10 to 1 from what I'm seeing here, you'll find it within anyway. But if you do need to reach externally here for any reason, do so, and it will be provided to you. Virgo, that's your reading for the week. I truly hope you enjoyed it. If you have a second, comment below. If you like my videos, please leave a like. If you like the content, subscribe today. It's free to do that. And I wish you all the best this week. And until I see you in the next video, take excellent care. Bye for now.